do you think governments can do, firstly, to stay away from nuclear weapons?
It's extremely difficult to feel the danger of nuclear weapons. Have you seen any nuclear weapons?
Not recently, no.
Not recently. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So it means that we need to feel the danger and the threat of nuclear weapons. To do so, it's one of the best ways is to visit Hiroshima and Nagasaki and to let the danger and the threat known to the people. That's very important. And well, the Japanese government has some kind of role to do that, and any people should see the reality of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and then you can feel the danger and the threat of nuclear weapons. Otherwise, the nuclear weapons are too far from us, and people say it's dangerous, but we don't feel that way.
So Stuart, what do you think in terms of countries that are in a position where they're actually considering pursuing and producing nuclear weapons? What do you think their governments could do, or sort of policies they could follow to stay away from that sort of policy?
Well, the major issue is about the understanding of the word security. If you think your security depends on the possession of the worst kinds of armed force, then you'll pursue the nuclear weapons route, or even the conventional weapons route, which leads to nuclear weapons. If you think that your security depends on your health, your access to education, your freedom of movement, irrespective of your gender or age or ethnic origin, then you'll forget about the idea that security depends on having large dangerous index. Shows that the countries that were at the top were people who realized that their security depended on their social security, their access to universal health care, among other platforms. It had nothing to do with having huge armed forces. On the contrary, the countries at the top of that index said it's more or less it's an expression of cowardice to think that you should have a weapon, let alone a nuclear.
What do you think, I'll pose this to both of you, what do you think countries that do have nuclear weapons, I'm thinking of the UK, France, the US, they do possess nuclear weapons, and they're sort of holding themselves to a higher standard, saying, you can't produce or pursue nuclear weapons, but we're going to be responsible. What do you think those governments can do to start doing away with nuclear weapons as part of their sort of security platform? Or Stuart?
Well, it's about, in psychologist terms of cognition, how you interpret what the question is. And I think when you get a different way of thinking about the world in general and about the sovereignty of your country in particular, then you come up with a different set of policies. You cease to say, you begin to say, the Cold War has ended, we don't need these things. We begin to say, I think there's a gender equality issue here. That may sound a bit strange, because there is a kind of mine is bigger than yours, typical male statement that underpins the psychology of
international institutions should be allowed to take some kind of taxation on nuclear weapons. Otherwise, having nuclear weapons, they may feel it's very comfortable. I possess nuclear weapons, you don't. That's a comfortable situation, and so that's why they are against nuclear proliferation. If all of us possess nuclear weapons, that's not just comfortable.
Yeah.
But if I possess nuclear weapons and you don't, then they don't give up the nuclear weapons by themselves. So